there's no emotion towards the end of goal. Go make the sound when you make $100,000 at the end of the year. Yes, we made $100,000. That sucks. That's boring. You weren't even emotional about it. I say I have goals sometimes that are so freaking scary, but when I know I hit, I'm gonna be freaking hyped up. I would run across the street yelling. I probably wouldn't do that, but there's a high emotion attached towards the end of a goal. So you have to think about it, saying, what's my end goal? Do I even get emotional about this thing? Like, can I cry one manly tear for the fellows up in here when I hit the goal? Think of the energy. The goal has a certain energy. A goal holds an energy. It holds an energy. Place yourself in that position if you were to hit the goal. If you were to emotionally hit that goal, how would it feel? It's not strong enough if you're not to cry. Like if your hairs wouldn't stand and be like, I knew this was gonna happen. It's not strong enough. If you don't have that, I think anybody successful that has hit in a certain peak inside of their career had their hair stand on their arm and say, shit, it happened. Like there's a feeling inside which is not like a yelling feeling, but it's a constrained enthusiasm feeling where it's like, yeah, I knew it. I knew this was gonna happen. And like nobody will ever know that but you. That's like an emotional point where you're just gonna have a moment with yourself and be like, I fucking did it. Does that answer it?
Great, thanks. So, as Mr. Dr. Anand was saying, we got any lions in this room that would like to ask any questions?
Wait. Sorry guys, just please note the best question is going to win one big prize from today. So get those questions good, ready to rock and roll, and at the end we're going to choose one of those who asked as a winner. Okay guys, good luck.
So over there with his hands up, I think Zayed.
Hi guys, this question is directed at Luai, just because. But my question was back in 2008. I'm sure you had goals set, and I'm sure, like most of us, some of the goals weren't the goals that motivated you to get to where you are today. How did the goal change, and what was your goal to get you to where you are today?
Michael, I mean, I'm still in the process of my goal. I'm still on the mission to, build one of the largest agencies in the city, in Dubai, probably in the region, and having a company that, where people are earning, I get satisfaction seeing people successful and making money from what I'm doing. And this is why we brought Daniel over here, because, it's the hottest international sales speaker right now. And I thought, this event will inspire you all to invest in yourself. And I feel this is something that I've done to myself to make me successful. And I feel like, if you want to succeed in life, you got to invest in yourself. You got to be disciplined, keep yourself motivated, and no one's your fan, your biggest fan, but yourself. Yeah. So you always have to be the person to keep on pushing, driving yourself forward and forward. No one's going to help you, So this is why I did that, is to be that little start, that little match that kicks it off and starts for you. Your journey, just like I had my journey in the past, I hope this event today will start your journey too, of investing in yourself and becoming a success also. Thank you guys. I don't know, the next question? Any lines out there?
I know there's a hand in the back.
There's a hand. Aiden?
So you say about reinvesting in your business and stuff, something that I've done as well, but how do you get around the idea of living, say you make like 50k, and then you want to reinvest that in the business. How do you say you don't spend the money and blow it, but you want to live a life of abundance, to have the mentality of, I am earning, and it's going to keep pushing you to earn more, because you feel like living like abundantly without blowing the money. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, because you say, hey, listen, I want to feel what it is to have some sort of money. Like I want to be able, when I fly, I don't want to fly economy, I want to fly business, because I want to feel like what business feels like, correct?
Yeah. Exactly. So like one of the things that my mentor tells me is only fly in business class. Yeah, because of the mentality. Once you do it once, you won't.
Your brain never goes back to regular form.
Exactly.
So you gotta know where you're stretching yourself. Meaning, you gotta be smart. Business is all about being resourceful. So you gotta know your moves. Hello? Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
You guys can still hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
So
it's about being resourceful, meaning you have to think about it, saying, am I gonna stretch myself way too thin where I'm gonna quit? Because now, there's a difference between saying, I'm gonna live luxury, and my business coach says, only fly private. Because it never stops, by the way, man. When you're at my level, there's gonna be a guy coming up to me saying, hey bro, you should never fly business, you should only fly private. You need a private jet. So then I start thinking, I was like, okay, it's great, I get the mentality, I understand, live in abundance, fly private jets, but watch out, a private jet ride is minimum at 30 a pop, 40 a pop, 50 a pop. What happens if you fly business every single week? I'm just giving an example, rough example, and then you overstretch yourself, and now you don't have money to survive, live, do what you gotta do inside of your business. So to me, it's like you can't overstretch, because then you quit. Most people overstretch, so then it's like, they buy too many Gucci belts, or they live in too much abundance. It's a fine balance between saying, okay, I'm gonna taste the lifestyle, but I also gotta be resourceful enough myself to pour back into my business. So I think you gotta live both. If you go too heavy on one side, you're gonna end up quitting because you spent all your money, and now you know what. There's nothing worse in the world than making money and then having no money.
Correct.
It's okay to be broke when you're broke, because we were broke for 25 years, 20 years, 30 years. But nothing's worse than making 500,000 and blowing 500,000, right?
Yeah.
Unless you know that 500,000 was a very strong business move that's gonna propel you towards $5 million,
Yeah.
right? So I just think it's a little bit of both, abundance and logic. I think any good business person can balance out abundance and logic very well, right? Does it make sense,
Yes.
right? Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does definitely.
Yes,
Because I
Daniel.
know I have growing up, I had a lot of negative energy around money. My dad in particular is very much like, don't go business because you can use that money to invest. Go economy. Like, that's the mindset of money. So like, I'm in the transition of trying to be more abundant, but also reinvesting in business. So I was just trying to get that fine balance, it's tough. But you answered the question.
I mean, listen, the real answer is this, okay? If you're my rep, I'm gonna say this, winners are winners. So like, even if you didn't take business, and you're sitting at the back of the freaking plane, and you're working at the back of the plane on your, if your mind is stretched, you're gonna win, regardless. It's not gonna take a business, because that's the quote that we always hear, stretch your mind, sit on business. Winners are winners are winners. They're gonna go on the back of the plane, open up a laptop and get work done. Here, my better answer is this, the real freaking truth, don't even think of it. You got too much time to think of that shit. You should be on that plane not even knowing what you're freaking flying. Open up the laptop, start working. That's the real answer. You know what I mean? That's the real answer. And what I'm trying to say here is winners are in for the game. He just said, I'm just starting because I need to be the #1 brokerage real estate firm here in Dubai. It's a game. They're in it for the process. So I think if so many people are like, okay, I just need the jet, I just need this, I just need the Lambo, I need to be in business, you're really not in it for the game. The guy that just started off shouldn't even, sure, sit on business. Because the person that sits on business, it's like, if you're really in it for the game, you're gonna open up a laptop anyways, crank on a podcast, take some notes, write out your goals, You're not even gonna feel the business. Because sometimes I would sit down and I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about my work right now, I'm working. I don't have time to think about what's slow, what's fast. When somebody asks me a question, they're like, I reached out to 4 people last week, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. What? I won't tolerate this inside of my business. Somebody comes to me and they say, so I reached out to 2 people last week, and 6 people ghosted me. 6 people? Close the door behind you. 6? You're not doing nothing. You don't have nobody to survey from. You shouldn't be thinking about, if you can remember the last person that left you on red or said no thank you, you're still not doing enough. Their work ethic is too low. That's why I drive numbers, and I'd rather drive activity rather than productivity. And productivity is the end result. So I would rather massage somebody and be like give them more admiration and recognition towards their output rather than just the end goal. Because I know eventually the end goal is going to catch up. So I recognize activity very high. Like the amount of calls, what you're doing, how much you're posting, what you're doing for branding, your follow-ups. I recognize that a lot. And I think of a lot of coaches, team members, they can harp more on that activity thing. Productivity is always good. Like the KPIs are much more important always than just the end number always inside of the business. So always when I see somebody stuck, when people are stuck inside of a business, and I know this is long-winded, like if they have stress or they're thinking about last week, I know for a fact a lot of it boils down to they have a low amount of activity. Because any single time we're in high amounts of activity, we can't even feel sometimes like, oh my God, I'm feeling sad, it's such a hard day. You're just so busy, you're in the game, you're playing, your emotions are going. So anytime the activity is low, you start to get this emotion that comes into business. Now, you start thinking about things. Oh, how this person broke up with me. Oh, I should be here inside of my life. The person that has it's the most important thing inside of business is staying active. It's a living like organism. You gotta keep this thing pumping and breathing. You can't stop it for a week. Okay.
I think, Yusuf?
Yeah.
Do you want my mic or?
No, it's fine. My voice is on.
Yeah.
Question. When you work in real estate, especially in Dubai, you get a lot of distractions. You get a lot of phone calls from, I don't know, a lot of people, weird stuff, like distracting you all the time.
So when you work in Dubai real estate, you get a lot of
You get a lot of
distractions.
distractions, and that distraction actually makes you forget your aim goal for today. And like I've been in the market for 9 years, but I'm new to Dubai. So in Lebanon, I used to have my own company. I used to have more efficient time in working. But here in Dubai, it's actually a bit hard to really focus on the KPI, let's say, and doing my targets on time. It's not working. I've tried many times. I've tried the calendar. I've started a lot of stuff. It's not working for me to stay focused. So how do I minimize the distraction and stay focused on my target?
You answer away, or you want me to answer?
I
I
can
don't
take
mind,
those
I don't
answers.
mind. I mean, I would like them to hear it from you because they've heard me say it many times.
You're like, shit, they're both the same. I guess I'm hearing the same. Man, Loe's saying the same thing, Daniel's saying that, okay, so the message is just the message is the message. So here, the answer to that is, which, you probably say the same thing, is, number one, I think, listen, the truth is this, it's never gonna stop. So as you start making more money, you always get more distracted. That's it, this is life, it never stops. So everybody thinks the problem's lessen, the distraction's less, right? But anytime you ask for more money, you're asking for more responsibility and more BS inside of your life. That's it. So when you ask for more, you're asking for more responsibility and more distractions. So I always tell people, don't open up your hands with the expectation of them not being filled up with problems. You just ask to go from 50,000 to 100,000 a month. That means there's going to be a lot more problems inside of your hand. And I know nobody preps us for this in business. Like nobody says, hey, by the way, next month is going to be a lot more BS next month. Trust me, I go through it myself. Like I'm at the point in my life to say, now you got to particularly see who you say yes to and see everybody wants to take you out for dinner. Everybody. I don't go out with nobody. I am a weird guy. Meaning this, I know people want to waste my time. If I go out with that person, there's something genuine there. Like I'm like, listen, I want to create a relationship with this person. I can see myself in life. It's very intentional. Because I know a lot of people want to waste my time. Everybody wants my time. Everybody wants my energy. Somebody wants a sales rep. Somebody wants this done for me. Every single day, I'll go inside my DM, my email. My assistant will get 1,000 messages saying, hey, we'd love, to take Daniel here and take that. I'm like, holy shit, where did this come up from? And it gets worse and worse and worse every single week. And then I start getting more dialed into my hole every single week, and I say, whoa. Okay, now, if I'm starting to get more distracted, that means, number one, the people around me, I don't have good people around me. Because if I don't have good people around me, I'm going to get more distracted. So I got to look left and look right to me. So that could be my two first things. Like, who's beside me? Who's my running mates inside of my business? Do I have running mates? How are my running mates? My running mates are distracting you. I got to get them out of my life. Sometimes your running mates are your workout people that are inside of your business. They might crush you sometimes because maybe you see them going out every single night for dinner at 9 o'clock at nighttime. So number one, is that myself? No, but maybe it's my action mates that are beside me. So maybe I got to move away from those people. That's the first thing. You got to watch who's around you because that's your direct influence. So if they're going out every single day at 9 o'clock, well, you're going to start moving to that thing every single day at 9 o'clock. Second thing is, Anthony told me something funny last night at dinner. He's like, every day I wake up, I see the number on my wall, how much I have to make. And I say, it's so funny because every successful person operates the same. You can go anywhere in the world, everybody's come up success story that is from nothing, and they will tell you the same shit. I woke up in the morning, my goals are glued to my ceiling. If it's not, you want to know what happens? Your day distracts you out of the goal that you thought about before you went to bed at nighttime, but you didn't look at it when you woke up in the morning. That's what a goal is there for. A goal is a reminder. A reminder to say, hey, somebody's going to come distract you. Make sure it's at the back. Where's my phone? Oh, Tony has my phone. My phone is my goal, right? Now it's weird a little bit, but I was getting too comfortable in life. So I was in Italy 4 weeks ago or a month ago, and I said, no, this comfort thing is gonna happen in the next 2 years. Not that I was getting too comfortable, I got my game. I said, I know exactly where I'm headed in the next 2 years, so I have to say, no, the goal has to like 50x right now. So I started writing down the goal. I'm like, no, now I gotta wake up every single morning and I gotta look at that thing. Because somebody's gonna try to distract me out of it. A client at this level is gonna try to distract me out of it, and I'm gonna go to that client. But now it's a different frequency, the goal. So now I gotta start thinking, okay, this person's gonna try to distract me. I open up my phone in the morning, I look at that thing. Most people aren't addicted to their business, so they don't look up and they don't wait to see their goals every single day. That's why when you work out, you gotta look, okay, how much do I gotta lose every single day? Or if not, you're gonna be eating maybe, I don't know, a lot of Mensaf and yogurt every single day. You're gonna be distracted because you don't see it on your phone. But if you have good people around you that are eating it, okay, that's the first indicator. You know, they're out, they're healthy, they order the healthy options, I feel weird. The second indicator is how many times am I getting reminded of this freaking goal? And if it takes a lot, heck, put on notifications, put it on your back screen, put it when you wake up in the morning. Everybody, I think, when they wake up in the morning should see a commission check on their ceiling.
Yes, I actually have a commission check on my fridge.
Good.
Huge one.
Can I just add a bit
Yeah.
to it? I mean, for me, you're talking about distractions and everything. For me, it's all noise.
Yeah.
And you need to, this distraction or this noise is going to only keep on increasing as you're trying to reach your goal. So you need to figure out how to filter that noise out. And no one's going to give you the advice for yourself. You need to figure out if it's people bringing toxicity around you, cut them out. If people are chatting, wasting your time, cut them out. If you're afraid or scared to tell someone, stop, I'm not in the mood to talk to you, or you're wasting my time, you got to do that sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah? You can't let people walk over you. And you know, life, I always say, is like little hills, and then you got to figure out how to step on them and keep on walking. If you don't, it's going to continue, you're going to trip up and fall. So yeah, distraction is noise, filter it down.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, we got good. More people put their hands up. I'll go Farida, you put your hand down,
Yeah.
and now we'll go for Joe after it. Farida, do you want to go for it?
Yes, hi. So even with the solutions you have, what pain points are you still experiencing in your journey with your business?
What pain points?
Yeah.
That I'm experiencing, like
Or are
personally?
you experiencing any pain points?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think everybody inside of, again, you know, I asked for bigger, so now a lot more challenges are going to come inside of my life. And I think, you know, at this point of my business, again, it's the right partnerships that I make. And partnerships are very deceiving. When you get into business, I think in the beginning stages, you're happy and excited to work with everybody and anybody. But then again, as you ask for more, you do more, you become a lot more attractive. So then these partnerships become deceiving. So to me, you know, it's, again, picking the right partners. The challenge is always, and I think, you know, the way is the same as me, it's like, you know, delegation becomes a huge part of your business. And not delegation in terms of laziness, like delegation in terms of like, I can't do this anymore. I literally got to get this marketer to go do this. I can't, see the problem with me is that I am so involved inside of my business, and I built a lot of my business off of people. So as you start serving a lot of people, more and more people want your attention, right? It's just like him, like a lot of people want to ask you questions, they want to grow with you, they want one-on-one coaching. And to me, I gotta say, okay, well, I gotta conserve my energy, because there's times where I've almost burned out, because like, I'm like, oh my God, I did so much, but forgot about the people, the brand, the marketing, the work, right? So that's a challenge when you're trying to build two things that seamlessly have to merge into, like, you know, your brand and the business. Because I never wanted to go too heavy on the business, forget about the brand. I never wanted to go too heavy on the brand, forget about the bank account.
To balance,
Right? Yeah, exactly. So I always gotta think in both points of my life, where do I gotta delegate, you know, my business and the personal side of my life as well. And, you know, I think time management is huge too inside of the business. Like, you know, like Roy said, learning how to say no to people and giving people, like, showing people your time management is huge as well inside of business. I wish I could get my mom on speakerphone right now, because, like, we have a joke that my mom, even my mother inside of my life, you know, when you become an entrepreneur and a salesperson, everybody knows you got time. Everybody, like, oh, this person, you know, they're an entrepreneur now, they're salespeople, and people try to waste it. So even my mother calls me and she's like, I got 2-3 minutes with Daniel. Unless he's with me, or like we're together, or it's done at the end of the day, I don't want my mom to talk about what's happening in the family at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
So I say, Mom, and this is not rude. It's like a joke between us now. She's like, Daniel, I have 2 minutes. How's everything? Where are you? What are you doing? Da, 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 da. And people are looking at me. I'm like, see how it is? I'm like, this is with my mother, the person that I love. But when I'm with her, I'm fully with her. Cell phone's gone, or I'm having a conversation with her. So I'm very protective about that as well. Because as I do more and more, people are gonna want more. Of course, everybody wants to ask me. There's a million people. Hey, how's Dubai? Da, 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 da. Not that I don't love you and I'm not responding. I'm just protecting my energy right now.
Yeah.
And you gotta be very, very, like, again, you're, you know, people respect your business to the degree that you respect your own business inside of your life. So if you don't respect your own time in your own business, people are gonna respect your time inside of your business. So to me, I have to say, how much do I respect it? How much, okay, am I in 15-minute quadrants, 30-minute quadrants, 1-hour quadrants? People will start respecting that. That's it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I've got a question. In Dubai, the way that obviously real estate agents get listings online is by doing cold calling. And you talked about before about how people having their defense up. Now, in person, it's easier to sort of break that defense, but on the phone, I think most of us will agree it's really, really difficult. Because a lot of the time...
No, it's not.
Well, this is what I want to ask you.
Well, the way you lost.
Well, I think...
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. You lost.
Okay. Well, I want to know what...
How are you? Wait. Guys, this is it. I'm with you guys. I'm treating this like it's my company, like it's my team.
Yeah.
So I'm not letting you finish the question yet. Because the question was, well, you know, in Dubai, it's very difficult. How are you going to outperform that? It's impossible. So even if I give you the right strategy, no good aptitude can implement with shitty attitude.
Correct.
So look at it. This is the real discussion. Because if you're saying it's hard, even if I give you the best strategy, you're still not going to believe me. You're still not going to believe me. In my head, I don't have myself convinced like that. I just need maybe a better strategy, but I believe, I'm like, no, cold calls are the best. Everybody's receptive towards it because it works. I'm convincing myself a little bit. I always said this. I said it in a video, and maybe you've watched it, maybe you haven't. I said you're never going to outperform the language that comes out of your mouth. So if the language is, it's difficult, it's hard, you know, not a lot of people like to answer calls, you're never going to outperform that person. It is impossible, I promise you. Doesn't matter who or how spiritual or how you guys think I'm thinking of right now, it is not going to happen. Because I can give you the best strategy, you're still going to look at me on stage, and you're going to doubt it. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes total
You're
sense.
still going to look at me and say, yeah, but it's easy for him to say. You know? Like, it's really, I know what's happening, man. I tell my guys things, I'm like, bro, if it's a person in my office, I'm like, you still don't believe me right now. Because your attitude is you don't have faith in the process that it actually can work out. I just look at the person left and right of me and say, well, if they can do it, I can do it. I'm just screwing up somewhere, but how the heck do they do it? Like, how, Daniel, okay, we make 150 phone calls every single day. Dude, how the heck can I get somebody to respond better to me so in the first 5 seconds of the phone call, they don't say I'm not interested. I want to know how to do that. How do I do? Attitude. You know, the attitude's different. I can see the attitude that's coming towards me. So now I'm like, shit, okay, this person, like, you know, they know it can happen, right? They're not skeptical from the jump, like they're not skeptical right away, so I can give them the right strategy. And then to answer, I think now the second part of your question was, what is the right strategy, right?
Yeah, very much. What would you say to break some defense over the phone?
So I think what I was saying in the beginning was every single person comes in either A, defensive, or whatever the case is. So first of all, I feel like anybody that comes in to shop for something, or you're cold calling somebody, there has to be a relatable component always when you call somebody. That's the first thing. It has to be relatable. And what I mean by relatability is when I'm making a cold call, there has to be a reason as to why I'm calling the person. So if I'm calling you, Luke, hey, how's it going? Hey, Luke, quick off, this is da-da-da, have you heard of us? No, hey, perfect, answer the question. I'm gonna go right into, number one, how I found you and why I'm calling. Hey, by the way, Luke, you know, we're servicing this neighborhood right now. I noticed last night I was with my assistant, Jen, and we were going through a lot of files. Your name popped up. The only reason why I wanted to give you a quick 2.5 second call, I need to run by something quickly because it's super important. Are you the person that deals with X, Y? See, I just gave you a reason and a strategy as to why I'm calling you. But if I don't have that component, it means I didn't do no research and I didn't have empathy, which is step number 2 inside of my sales process. So I didn't create a relatability component very early on in the first 5 seconds. Hey Janet, by the way, I'm calling you because last night I'm creating this art, because it's a balance, right? Like what you're using with your words is just a balance over the phone. So I'm creating this image of Janet thinking of me over the phone. So, oh, he's sitting down in his office, his legs are kicked back. This is how she's thinking of me. His legs are kicked back. He was with his assistant. This neighborhood is popping off. He's giving me a call for this reason. Like I'm dialed in talking at my prospect, not to my prospect. So now there's a level of like that specialty factor where it's like, well, it's not a cold call. So I made that shit a warm call in 5 seconds. So what I'm thinking about is when I'm doing a cold call, how do I make it warm in the first 5 to 10 seconds? How do I make the person feel like they were the only call that day? Because what does a telemarketer sound like? Hi sir, we're calling from da-da-da. Would you like this? Boom, I'm just a number.
Yeah.
Right? So I tell my guys, hey listen, even the telemarketer, I was in telemarketing when I was 16. But I was at the top when I was 15, before door-to-door sales. I was at the top of my telemarketing. A $5 deal is the same as a $50,000 deal, a $50,000 deal is the same as $50 million. How can you go from cold to warm quickly? I was always at the top, writing like $5, $10 at the deal I closed, because I'm like, whoa, they just followed the script in the first 5 seconds. Every time I got on a phone call, I'm like, how do I make this homeowner feel like I'm the only person that called them? Even though I'm in a telemarketing job right now. How do I just make them feel special in the first 5 seconds? Like they're the only homeowner that I'm talking to, or the only investor that I'm talking to. When you start doing that, you start getting a little bit more creative, and I think every single conversation is different. Does that help?
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that empathy
It's huge.
is huge, and over here, I think people, when they're making the calls, there's no empathy when you're calling. You're just calling, hi, I'm calling from this real estate company. Are you looking to sell your property? And I think most of the people over here, this is what they do. They do it 100 times, and they're like, oh, it's not working, so they're giving up very fast.
Right.
But if they were putting that empathy and trying to get to know the person and giving them a direction of why they're calling him, I think, the success rate will be a lot better.
Of course, it's just this, is that, so what happens is they answer a little bit more. And when they answer a little bit more, your book meetings go up, your listings go up, and your closings go up. So all I'm really trying to do is just trying to get engagement a little bit more on the phone call. That's it. And then I trust in the sales process. Then it goes from the listing. I don't think about that after. I don't think about the listing and all that. I just think about, hey, how do I make the person feel like I did some research on them, or there's a real component as to why we should. All right.
Ilham, you wanted to ask a question?
Yes, please.
We'll come back to the rest, but I think we'll still have
Yeah.
My question is regarding that not being defensive. What you will do if your client come with a friend and the friend is start to putting objection, your client wants to deal with you and he's exclusive with you, he agree with your idea, but the friend who I know that why he's bringing objection because he has another real estate agent and they want to get referral fee from other company. So in this position, what is your advice? Because the door is still not closed. For the next viewing, how I can ask the guy, for example, don't bring your friend, or let's do this.
Well, my short answer is, I like that question. This is very practical, so I like it. You just got, hey, next conversation, don't bring your friend, don't bring that person. I think you just got to get down to business at the end of the day, right? So, in business, there's just a decision maker. Like, somebody's going to make a decision on this.
The wife is decision maker and she likes to be.
Say it again?
The wife of the buyer, she's decision maker and she's angry. But a friend of the husband trying to take the lead to another,
To another agent so they can make more money.
So, the friend's coming to the showings?
Yes.
They're coming to the showings.
And the
friend will get money out of it.
Oh, the friend's going to get money and you're not involved with the friend.
Exactly.
Okay, well, wait. This is a good question. I like the question. It's good because there's so many different scenarios. And again, you gotta feel out the situation. Because remember when I said people respect your business to the degree that you respect your own business, right? When you are in a position of abundance, it's hard not to think about it when you're not in that position, but when you are, it's very easy to say, hey, listen, if you want to work with another realtor, go ahead and work with the other realtor. It's completely fine. Like, I want you, if you want to work with a friend, the last thing I want to do is jeopardize you and your friend's relationship, because it looks like she wants a commission check. Give her a freaking commission check. Go do it with another realtor. You know why I say that? Because I have the belief that no matter if she buys from me or not, there's another person left and right of me. But when you hold on to it, Alhan, right?
Yeah.
When you hold on to that person, people can feel it. Like, they can really feel it. Really, really feel it. So I have the belief that, hey, whatever, if the person doesn't do it, I'm going to go to the next person. And I'm okay with saying that when you're abundant inside of your head. That's what abundance means. So when I'm abundant, I can say to the person, hey, if she wants, give her the commission check. Don't let me get involved in this. I really want you guys to make a sound investment that is not going to make you just the right amount of money, but also you keep your relationship and both of you guys are freaking happy. I just wanted to show you what I think is best in the market, but I also respect your process, right? So maybe I think it's time you can push people up, which will always draw back people in. It's okay. Respect yourself. Just like he said, respect your time, respect who you are, give yourself self-love. Don't beat yourself up. Don't let other people beat you up and make you insecure and give you obscurity inside your business. People will do that to you. People will make you question yourself. They're going to make you drive around for 18 days and bring a friend, and then you're like, what's happening? And deep down you know, inside, especially you as a woman, you got that intuition to say, okay, you know what, maybe it's time to just let it go and focus on a lot more people. Because every customer, just because they are a customer, they could do business with you, doesn't mean they should do business with you. They could be a lot more headaches than they are commissions. You guys know this for the seasoned reps.
Yeah.
A lot of people sometimes are a lot more headaches than they are commissions, and you're like, I should have never took that person as a customer. So sometimes you gotta ask yourself, you know, could they? Yeah. Should they? I don't know. Maybe I gotta spend my energy elsewhere.
Yeah, value your time.
Value your time. Yeah.
So again, is that Assad?
Yeah.
Assad, okay, you go for it.
You were talking about making content earlier, getting people, put themselves on video.
Yes.
One of the main pushbacks, I'm in the business of that. I try to get people to make video as well.
So you do
Content creator.
You're a
that's
content
right.
creator.
Yeah. One of the main objections, or one of the main things that stop people from doing that, is the thought that they don't want to give their secrets away.
Say it again.
People don't want to give their secrets away.
Secrets of what?
Their own secrets. Secrets
Of what?
Of their creative,
Oh, their
digital,
secrets.
everything that they
Imagine I had that thought. Shit, I would have been
That's what I want you to know. What you
Dude, I give everything. Like, if I'm like a talking machine on my Instagram. Like, I'm like this person. It's like university. I tell people don't buy anything from me. Just go on my social media.
Yeah.
So, if you really think, you gotta remember, no matter what. See, again, I think bigger. So I think, okay, do I really care about somebody buying a course from me? In my head, I'm like, no. Because my goal is I have a business. So my business pumps me a lot of money. So I'm not just branding to be like, oh, I hope to become this social media influencer. It's not my goal. So branding has led me here to create bigger relationships. I can go on to make 100 million with Lloyd. Who knows? Branding has gotten me here because I said it is not a transactional game. So when somebody starts to think so low-minded, saying, well, I'm not going to give away all these sales tips, and I see it. I'm in the coaching space, so I see a lot of coaches. They give things and they're like, here are my 2 secret formulas. Dude, stop it. Like, it's not really your tips, or you're not really saying it from the heart. So to me, I don't think you lose anybody by giving. I really don't think that. I don't think you lose anybody by giving anything. You actually look like the most confident person when you give the most. You do. If you look at anybody that's big inside of the space, they have given so much. Name me one person that's massive inside of the space. They have just dumped it all up. And that's a part of business. When she asked me, hey, what's the difficult part? It's always just being like, hey, let me compete with yesterday. Like, let me compete with yesterday, like how much I put out yesterday. I have to start getting newer and innovative. So every single conversation I'm aware of to create content out of it, I'm very like observant of my surroundings because that's what content comes from. If you go back to my social media, you'll never hear that in my social media. Here are 4 ways to become a good salesperson.
It comes from conversations. That's what.
Yeah, because this is what branding is. So I have to say, okay, how do I give a concept with an analogy? A concept is no good without an analogy. So when I'm branding, I have to say, here's a piece of concept, where's the analogy? So I think for branding, I think when people are scared to give, they don't look at it as a brand. They look at it as marketing. and they look as if they're losing dollars when they talk to somebody about something, like they're losing it, or somebody's gonna copy them. Again, their intent is wrong. Their intent of branding is wrong. Their intent is to build trust. The only way I can build trust is when somebody knows it's genuine and I'm actually giving them something of value. My whole life was because I gave so much to people. Really, that's why I'm here. I gave so much to people. I got into my business saying nobody will ever give more, right? That was my thing. Like, yes, there might be 2 hidden formulas in my head that you might not know. But I might end up giving it to 3 weeks down the road because nobody even cares. They're gonna hire me regardless. Regardless of the fact, the person's gonna hire me if they wanna hire me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the question is like, how do you break the negative connotation of your clients coming in and not wanting to give as much as they're supposed to give? And tell your clients it's a trust building game. That's it. Your brand is your trust building game.
I mean, I wanted a lot of people here to hear that.
Yes, it's a trust game. It's the marathon game, it's a trust game. Marketing is, hey, my name's Daniel. If you want to learn how to swipe up and let me, that's marketing. That's marketing. Branding is the long-term game with just building trust with people. And I would just tell people, give what you can give. You know, don't exhaust yourself. Give what you can give, and just ask yourself this one question. This is what I ask myself. All my stuff does really well. Not to be like cocky or anything. Every single one of my posts does really, really well on Instagram. I've never had a post that has under 700-800 shares. This is really good for people listening. Why? Every single time, I don't make the post where it's like, let me give you 5 tips. Because I see everybody, I say all my posts have to say one thing inside of my own head. Would I repost my own shit on my story if I see it? That's the way I that's the way I attack my branding, saying if it's not shareable, I'm not gonna put it out. Because that's how you get the message out. So then I ask myself one question, would I even share that on my own story? That's why I ask myself the sales question, would you even buy from yourself? So sometimes when I was marketing in the beginning, I would say, that's not Daniel. That's not Daniel. That guy, 2017, 2018, that wasn't really you. You know? Like, you wouldn't really want to share that. That's not really effective. I owned who I was. I was the nutcase. I owned it. I was crazy. I'm like, no, this is how I am, 24/7. Somebody asked me about business, this is how I am. This is who I am. And I started saying to myself, is this gonna be shareable? Does somebody actually, people are only gonna post it if they get value out of it. That's the only way they're gonna repost it on their stories. If they see some sort of value. They're not gonna repost it any other way. And it's an ego thing when people repost your stuff. Like, it's an ego thing, because they wanna be like, hey, look, I told you. You see what I mean or no? It's like, I know, look. I tell them this, let me post this on my stories. Listen to this, what this guy's saying. It becomes a thing. So now I start saying like, oh shit, like who am I trying to attack? What would that person want to tell their own team? Kind of thing. Makes sense or no?
Yeah, I think, I think Danny D wants to ask Daniel G a question now, right?
How you doing, Daniel? Alright, I've got a question here for you. This one's going to be short. What career mistake has given you the biggest lesson?
Can you say it again?
What career mistake has given you the biggest lesson in your career?
What
Career.
Mistake.
Your career. In your past career, what has given you the biggest lesson?
What has given me the biggest lesson? Oh, in my whole career, what has given me the biggest lesson?
Yes.
To never run by my wins and my losses inside of my life. Meaning, you know, I feel like there's so many good moments inside of my life that I never realized as to why I was doing good, and I would just walk past it. And I would never understand the thing where people said, you know, success leaves clues or anything like that. So I would never reverse engineer why I was good. And this goes for the losses as well inside of the business. So I think whenever I had a high time, I would just be like, well, that's just who I am. And I would never go back to it to say, why did I have that high inside of my business? Who was I? Like to the team, what was I eating? Who was I around? What were my relationships like? What was like my internal thoughts going around at that time? So I never really reverse engineered the highs of my life. So when I got stuck in the lows, I didn't know how to get out of the lows. Right?
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
It's not like a point break inside of my career. Like the point break when I was young. Like I had my light bulb moment when I was like 13, 14 when my parents split up. That was like my light bulb moment to get uncomfortable and start working and start making money. Right there and then, I was just a hungry animal since I was like 14 working door-to-door sales. That was my light bulb moment at my aha moment. I think a thing that I would always like to reflect, I didn't do a lot of reflection in the beginning stages. And I think reflection is good when you want to reach another level. I think reflection is good on your losses and your wins. Not enough people reflect. So I think, some people gotta just sit down and ask themselves a question. Why the heck did I do good? The hardest thing to do for me is to sit down and watch myself. Like, it's weird. It's to like go back to Steve's footage and be like, let me watch myself. I would hate that. Like, I would run away from that. The last thing I would want to do is go watch myself train another team.
You don't watch your videos?
No, now I do. Now. But before, it would be if Steve knows, like, now I don't let anybody watch it aside from me first. But before, it would be the last thing that I ever want to do. I don't ever want to see myself train a team on Zoom call. I don't always want to say, hey, do you want the recording? No, I don't want it. Chop it up, send me some videos. Now, I'm like, wait, they didn't laugh for 18 minutes. So now I'm like, what did I do in those 18 minutes? Shit, those jokes weren't funny in Dubai. I'm not using them again. It wasn't funny. Nobody laughed. Like, I was laughing in my own head, but they weren't laughing. Right? So now I gotta watch this to get a little bit better. So if I'm back here, I gotta start feeling it out. So I think reverse engineer goods and bads.
So I think let's just do 2 more questions. Yeah. Is that Alice over there? Yeah.
Just to go back to, let's say, sales question, how do you deal with a emotional client, as in they purchase with their emotions and they don't really, even if they have a lot of money, bulk buyers, whatever case they're in, but they're super emotional, like they put in their emotion at every stage of the sale.
So give me a good example.
Okay, I want to buy my dream home, but it has to look like my dream home, and I do have the budget, but I look around all of Dubai and end up not purchasing anything because I don't feel like this is the place I want to be in. And if every place is not yours, then like she looks everywhere, let's say, in the market.
Yes, so I think what's important for me as a buyer in real estate, I've been purchasing since I was 18, since my first check. I was emotional, like, in the beginning I didn't see it as an investment. I looked at land, I looked at this home, blah. I was getting emotional in the process. And then I started to have to look at, as a buyer, like, how would a salesperson sell me? Yeah. And I had to, if the only good people can circle in on my importance, meaning they always circle back into my importance. So the way to eliminate emotions is you go back to the person's importance. Because if you don't go back to my importance, you get caught up in all their emotions. Yeah, but it doesn't have this door. Yeah, but it's not in this area. So I don't think, again, if you haven't done the proper assessment throughout while you're driving with somebody, while you're walking with them for coffee, like, you don't have to do it in the first 20 minutes of talking to somebody. You don't know what their top criteria are in mind, so you don't prioritize that in your head as an agent. So now you have this criteria with this emotional client, but it's not split into ABC. And if it's not split into ABC in your head, they're gonna walk around because they have so many. But now you gotta look, say, hey, Alhan, I know, you want this perfect dream home or whatever the case is, and sometimes it happens. But I think the most important thing is to look at is, what's the most important thing? And if this thing happens, this would be like a freaking cherry on top. But we gotta look at importance, because what happens is, when people try to make the most perfect decision, they end up making no decision at all. And you don't want to be in that position either. So I want to know from you, this is what I would say, I want to know from you, what is on your level of priority and what's important to you? And as I know that, I always start circling back that with a client then. I would say, hey, by the way, remember you told me you wanted, the beach frontier? I think that's what was important to you, right? So let's, you always got to go back to a priority of what the client has importance of. Because if not, they're going to give you 18 things and end up getting no deal. I don't know, maybe Loe can say from a different perspective.
I mean, the way I see it, you mentioned emotions. I think all luxury products are purchased, especially properties or whatever, is an emotional purchase.
Correct.
You're purchasing that product to satisfy a need inside of you, right? So you need to kind of determine and figure out that person you're dealing with, what are they trying to fulfill? Do you get what I mean? Once you identify that, then I believe you'll be able to close them. So you haven't identified the emotional aspect of why they're purchasing.
You just need to know what the client's need is and just
Correct.
keep hitting on it.
100%, that's what I meant, Saad. But again, when we mention the emotional aspect, you need to identify, especially with high-end things, people buy because of emotions.
Yes.
Why do we buy Dior? Why do we go buy Gucci? Why are we buying that? We're trying to fulfill something inside of us, a satisfaction, to feel better, that we're wearing something better. That's just what it is. And when you're buying something luxury, you're trying to fill that void, let's say. I think Laura wanted to ask a question.
Thank you.
Or who?
You gotta show off your highlights. Like whoever asked that question, like just go back to, like for example, for me, I always ask myself, how would I be sold? Like if somebody you meet, they would say, hey Dan, by the way, this house is perfect for you because you know you got the beachfront, but it's also perfect for hosting because I know you don't like going out. So this is the perfect house for hosting. Look at the open concept. So boom, that's my emotion. So when people come here, you're gonna make a wow factor. It's gonna be like the great Gatsby when they come in here. That would be my thing, right? But then some other guy's gonna be focused on a pool. Not my thing. I don't care about the pool because I don't like swimming.
Mariam.
Yes.
So we'll come to you.
Laura, right?
No, okay, we've got a gentleman with a hat behind. Mariam, do you mind him asking? He's been waiting for a very long time. I apologize. Sorry, Laura. You can ask him in the office.
It was actually for other people.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Desire, and going through the process of personal and corporate development, most of the times, we get to learn about the deepest reason, which is that thing that keeps you moving, whether it's snowy, humid, or cloudy out there, you still keep on going on every day, building that momentum. So I hope that maybe this world will actually have a lot of us that are around to actually emulate as from you. So I want to ask this question, like, what is your deepest reason?
Is this to me or the way?
To you and your team.
What was my deepest reason for keeping momentum?
Your deepest reason every day, because some people, all of us will have different reasons every day. Sometimes, it's hot out there, it's rainy, this and that, always have reasons. Like, you have the deepest reason that keeps you moving day in and day out. Like, the deepest reason. What is your deepest reason?
Yeah, I think as we do this more and more, like as I do this more and more, I start to realize, like, I feel like to me, if I don't operate at a high level, it's like almost like a disgrace to what I've been given. So like I almost like abuse my energy that I've been given. I haven't given fulfilling enough because there's reaches a certain point where no matter what, I know I'm always going to make money. I have a vision for business. I get it. Yes, I have a vision for my agencies to have agencies in every single part of the world, right? To have an office in every single part. I'll have one here in Dubai in the next 6 months. That's great. That's cool. And I know, because I know my business, I know what's going to happen because I've already done it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But to me, I also feel like the other side of it, what keeps me going is that, I feel that there's a lot of things where I ask myself, like, shit, that wasn't even me speaking on stage. Like, somebody gave me that information. And if I'm just speaking through it. I don't know where it comes from sometimes, but I'm never going to stop it. Because then, whatever source that came in from, I feel like it would be like disrespectful to stop my business in my head. But the other thing is this, that is one thing, because I feel in my head that everybody's been blessed with one thing. And then they tap into it and they keep it going for a lifetime. And they're grateful for that one thing that they've been blessed with. There are 2 things. For another thing is, I'm not a guy that needs a lot of motivation. So I personally don't need it. Some people do, but I don't need somebody kicking my ass every single morning. I don't need it. I don't need to wake up every single morning and need a motivational CD. I don't need it. Because I look at myself as a worker. And when I look at myself like that, all the other shit becomes irrelevant. Because I look at my grandparents and I said, nobody woke up our grandparents and said, hey, you gotta go to work the farm this morning.
Yeah.
So then I say to myself, I'm like, wow, how society has shifted, that the number one question that I get now inside of my life is how do you stay motivated? But I never asked my grandfather how he stayed motivated to work. So, because everybody puts the position of CEO, entrepreneur, and salesperson on a pedestal, and they forget it's just freaking work.
Yeah.
And when you just eliminate that, it just becomes work inside of my head. So I don't have an option. If I don't do it, I don't get paid. So I just create a lot of my days just like freaking work. I got 10 things to do. I got this to do. I got that to do. I got this to do. I gotta do this live stream. I gotta do this call for somebody, and I treat it like work. And I think all those a lot of the fluff words start to get eliminated when you just sometimes just treat it like a job. Especially in the beginning when you're trying to develop the last thing, which is called discipline. When you treat sales like a job, you don't have to think about motivation and consistency because you don't really give a shit. When you treat it like a job, you just gotta show up every single day or you don't get paid. And it also eliminates emotions inside of business. When you treat a sales profession like a job, you eliminate all the emotions inside of your business, from your clients, from everybody around you, because when you're at your job, you just showed up and you did it with your mouth shut, and you just, that's it, you had to do it, you didn't get paid. Even if 85 people, we took the biggest beat downs when we worked in jobs, doesn't matter, you show up and you still do it, because you knew you were getting a paycheck. So you weren't emotional, you didn't go to the back and say, oh, this job isn't working out, you would just show up and do the job. So I think as a lot of salespeople in the beginning stage, they don't have to treat it like a business because you never ran a business before. What treat it like a business? You never ran a business, treat it like a job. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sure.
I think Mariam wanted to ask a question. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel. Well, it was impressive to listen to your tips today. As a wrap-up, how do you identify or describe a successful realtor? One, and
A successful realtor?
yeah.
Okay.
After all, what we discussed today. And the second part is that how we, as realtors, we do everyday calls, we meet people, we go for viewings. How to avoid stagnancy? Thank you.
Right, so plateauing inside of your business?
Yeah.
Being
Yeah,
stagnant?
stagnancy or routine or, that's how I describe stagnancy. Like we do the calls with you, we go viewing, we meet people, and, so how to avoid stagnancy, because those are actually, our life rotates around those three, kind of.
Mm-hmm. So, cool, I like the question. So, the first question is this: I think good traits of any good realtor. I'm not going to come from the realtor's perspective. I'm just coming from the buyer's perspective and a little bit of the sales trainer perspective. But as a buyer perspective, because I always just look at, okay, who do I want to partner up with to buy me my next condo or whatever the case is. I think the best trait is always the person that goes above and beyond. Always, just always wants to give you an experience above and beyond. Always gives you more detail above and beyond. It's really the empathy component that I look for in a sale. And the individual that allows me to have the freedom of thought and speech when I'm in the conversation. Like, they really give it to me and they understand my pace, because every buyer has a pace. So I think the best realtor understands the pace of their client, and they match the pace of their client. A lot of realtors get off the pace of their client because they're not empathetic towards it. So I think the first thing is, it's the first thing that you always learn. Just always go the extra mile for people. Always show them that you got an extra mile. Because it's never if you get the deal done this week, it's always what they think about you before they go to bed, or what they think about when they want to shop for their next deal. It's always like that, right? So you always go above and beyond. And it's not with your materialistic things, it's really with your heart inside of it. It's not with, oh, let me drive around this person to 18 freaking appointments. It's really caring about them when you're, talking to them, whatever the case is, right? Showing them certain information, caring about what their purchase is or their investment. The other question was, how do you stop stagnancy? By keeping business fun and like the game. Like what I said, social media is a beautiful thing to stop stagnancy. Why? Because now you can mix your personality in with your business. And it will drive you a lot of results as well. So I think to stop stagnancy is, one thing is, maybe do a lot more content and a lot more branding. I think that will challenge you. And it's good to get a little bit uncomfortable, and it's good to challenge yourself a little bit more. Because, if you watch something and you're curious about something, it's the highest form of doing. You don't do because out of passion. I was not passionate about sales. I just always had a knack, so I followed curiosity. It's a lot different. Passion and curiosity are different. Passion's like, I want to be a soccer player, but cut the crap. I wasn't in Europe when I was 16, so I knew that was done. So I had to follow what I was curious about, because it always propels you towards working harder. So I always say, hey, what am I curious about and challenged about? Let me go chase that. So maybe it's branding, maybe it's marketing, maybe it's social media, maybe it's being stepping out of the comfort zone and doing it with your whole team, telling your team to do more, or whatever the case is. Getting a little bit, find things that make you uncomfortable and chase it a little bit more. You know? Does that help?
Yeah, I think getting out of your comfort zone is one good thing to get out of being stagnant. Laura, I think you wanted to ask a question. I don't know. You still?
For now.
Oh, okay. Emma.
It's just a quick one, really. So how do you stop overthinking? So obviously you're saying always train yourself, always watch blogs, you know, always be learning. But I experience a lot of agents that over-engineer things and they overthink rather than actually actioning.
Okay, so you're going to the agent that, you know, thinks about like their numbers and what's gonna happen inside of the business instead of just doing it, picking up the call and getting it.
Basics.
Pardon?
Doing the basics, just getting it done.
Correct. I don't think, you know, success is, it's an interesting game in sales, especially because you really don't know how to do things unless you do them inside of sales. So you don't know, I can train you guys a million times, and Lloyd can train you guys a million times, but really only you will reverse engineer your own success. So it's not gonna come from a book, it's not gonna come from me. So you will start to understand how you're a good operator. No number's gonna show that. It's more, the more you get in front of people, the better you get. So when I tell people like how do you stop overthinking or whatever, you gotta get inside of repetition because now you're gonna start finding your like, you know, I wasn't good my first day on camera, but I'm great at speaking on camera, etc. Because I just figured out, I worked out the kinks, I made a lot of volume, which got me a lot more competent and confident inside of my business. I just think, again, success is a good balance between numbers and reverse engineering who you are, and I can't do that for somebody. Like neither can he. Like you gotta figure out how you win. What's like your it factor? What's like the secret sauce that you do? And that happens when you have enough data for yourself. And data means you've done enough to say, oh, this is this joke that is making people freaking laugh. Let me write, like this is this thing. You know, this is your own reverse engineer success.
So my question is, first let's be honest, how many of us here, when we make money, like after a big deal or something, we lose interest in the job at least for some time? So how many of us? So me, the first one? Yeah. Okay.
Lose
Yeah,
interest
don't
after
be
a
shy,
deal.
that's what I-
Yeah, what it means is like,
No,
you're like,
no,
okay,
yeah.
you relax a bit, like sales.
Yes, you relax for some time, and sometimes, yes, you lose interest. So there is one thing that is the core value for whatever is moving me or moving my, in the morning on the bed. So how can I identify my own core value? Because that thing I cannot lose. That is the main thing that drives me. I made money, I didn't make money. That's the only thing that really drives me.
Wait guys, I just need to hear her question. Keep going, sorry, just for another 5-10 minutes.
Then, okay.
So the question was?
The question was, how can I identify my own core value?
Mhm.
It's not related to the money. Like I made money, I didn't make money, I will keep moving.
Okay, good questions. It's interesting. I had this conversation last night at 4 a.m. I said, you know, in the beginning stage when you don't make money, you get into business, the first thought is this: I'm gonna make money and shit on everybody to say, hey, look, I did it. And then you start making money, so you're like, I proved myself and I proved everybody else. Now I can do it. That's like the first thought, really. It's like, you know, everybody doubted me, I made money, look, I can do it. I knew I could do it. Or you want to prove somebody else. And then that's a stop, because then you know you can do it. So now you know you can make 50,000 better in the month. So the other thing is like contribution is at a high level of energy, like inside a business. And contribution doesn't mean giving money certainly away to people, but what it means is like watching other people grow and become successful. So if you're really at that level, you know, a high form of fulfillment from you might come in watching other people become successful. Because I know, you know, that's a lot of the reason why he does it. Like he's probably seen so many agents. Like think of the fulfillment that Loe will get when he sees he turns somebody into a multiple 6- and 7-figure earner. Like that's contribution into somebody else's life. You know what I mean? And that is like, it's when that happens inside your life, it's like a never-ending cycle. Because then you're like, whoa, I have belief in, like, when you have belief in human beings more than they have belief in themselves, it's like a never-ending cycle. It's game over. Because now you look at people, somebody doubts that person, but I'm like, oh shit, this person can probably make $1 million. You know, yeah, let's bring them in. Let me bring them in. Let me try to make this person money. I can only take them to the water so far. But that contribution, you trying to help other people, it's gonna make you inevitably have high energy as well, which your business will keep producing, right? Because you have good energy trying to bring other people up. If you're really at that point inside of your business, like if you're really at that point inside of your business where you feel like you made a couple of deals or you've done so well, I don't know, help somebody out, bring somebody else inside of the business, recruit somebody else in, start getting them successful, make somebody else your action mate, watch the people around you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the goal is not the money, right? So everyone has a mission and a goal of what they want, and once you achieve it, you want the next goal, and you continue it. So I think that's what it is. It could be to see other people successful, to go out and manifest and do different things around the world and improve the world. So it's only the goal of the money, right? So I think that's what we need to. Yeah, I know there's a few more questions. I can't really see who's behind. Is that Fahmi?
Lloyd, how many people are going to be at the office tomorrow too?
A lot of the people.
Okay, yeah, good.
So we'll just do 2 more questions.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, it's fine.
And then tomorrow we can continue. Fahmi?
Danny, can I start off with an example?
Please,
in my final year of uni, for my graduation project, I waited till a month before the deadline. I've made some professional companies do my project. It took me 5 days to do. I hope no one from my uni is here. And there was a second group who was working for 8 to 9 months on almost the same project, and we ended up with the same result. My question now is in a sales job, the combination of working smart and working hard, especially in our era today where the social media is there. As you mentioned, 30, 40 years ago, they didn't have the social media, they didn't have the marketing and all of that. But today, I can get an access to so many clients, qualified clients, through different ways, other than the typical way or the hard way, maybe I can call it, of, let's say, cold calling, knocking doors, etc., etc. So, how does this apply in our job, in our career? The working smart and working hard. Is there a ratio of this to that?
Yeah, I think both. You gotta optimize towards your strengths, right? So I know some people say the opposite. Some people say, fix on what you're weak at inside of your business. But I always look at, what I'm strong at. So, and that's my smart work. So sometimes what I'm strong at, I only gotta do 4 hours of what I'm strong at, and that equates to somebody's 40 hours. And then I ask myself this question: what if I were to work hard on the things that I was good at? Because that's when you become a beast inside of sales. Let's say sales, you're asking sales. What happens is most people work their numbers. I did this once, an example. I'm like, this is where people lose inside of business, inside of sales. So they work their numbers, right? And then as you work your numbers, there's 2 components. So what happens is you work your numbers, and then you start getting better. What took you 150 meetings, calls to get 1 meeting, now you can do 75 calls to get 1 meeting because you're getting better. Your skill set goes up. As your skill set goes up, the percentage goes up. The percentage is how many people you have to talk to in order to get a booked meeting, right? But what happens is, because I don't think enough salespeople stretch their whole day. I really don't. I think when people start getting good, they start getting a little bit lazier. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna work on my strengths. What's that? What happens is this. People, they do their numbers, they get better, and now they can close a meeting in 75 calls. But then they stop the work ethic, and the numbers go down. So then they stop the outreach, or whatever the numbers are, the activity, whatever their activity is. It's not just necessarily cold calling, it's anything. I just use cold calling as an example. Why did you stop the work ethic when you got a little bit better? That never makes sense to me. That's where people lose inside of business, because then they figure out what their skill is, and they're like, oh, now I'm good at this, now I can just do it for 4 hours. Imagine you kept the work ethic up, you got better, and the percentage goes up, and then you keep doing that routine. Figure out, does it make sense? It's just that when most people get better, their work ethic gets down. So, again, to me, I figure out where I'm good at, and then I triple down quadruple down on where I'm good at. So if this is where I'm good at, I'm getting a lot of results, then I poured a lot of my energy and my hours into that. But I try never to stop the hours, because a lot of people stop their hours. So then, now they know what they can get done in 10, they get done in 3. What happened with the other 7? You know? Like, how many people actually work 12 to 14 hours a day? It's not a lot. Belly to belly, not many. It's not many. Belly to belly. Belly to belly, you guys know what that means? No?
Back to back. Yes.
Belly to belly means, like, your 80-20 in your business is belly to belly. Like, working hard is not checking your emails. That's your 20. That's not belly to belly. Yes, it has to get done. Yes, it's an end of the night task. But it's not productivity. You're not drumming up business. You're not filling up your pipeline. You're not creating new connections, opening up relationships. Belly to belly is talking to people, communicating, working deals through, moving the needle, hunting for things, calling on people, calling on a developer. That's belly to belly. Really? 8 hours, 10 hours? I don't think so.
What's the word opposite belly to belly? Because I want to start using it.
Fuck. Back to back. Ass to ass. Ass to ass. Ass to ass.
There's a lot of ass going on.
Yeah, like, just think of that ass to ass. Most people, when you look at a rep, it's 2 hours belly to belly throughout the day. Meaning, like, that's contact, right? It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I keep myself in check too. I'm like, damn, you did 30 minutes of belly to belly today. Belly to belly meaning like really going out there and hunting it out.
Hustling.
Moving it forward, looking at a deal. How do I move the needle forward in this deal? Am I really getting down to all the decision maker units? What can I do to get down to all the decision makers on this investment property? That's belly to belly shit. Like really working it. So I just think, you know, just look at your hours throughout the day where you're spending it. Like, there's ass-to-ass hours and belly-to-belly hours. And I think if really somebody can get to 8 hours of belly-to-belly, your guys' business would be in a whole different direction. Whole different direction. Like, insane. Every single time I focus on belly-to-belly, I don't know where I came up with this term, but when I woke up in the morning, I'm like, this is what I'm gonna make, this is what I'm gonna get done. It always happened in the next 3 days. But if some people could just focus on 8, 9, 10 hours a day of outreach, consistency, talking to prospects, your business will change in the next 4 to 6 months. 4 to 6 months. It will change completely. You will be so full, your pipeline will be crazy. Anyways, one last question? Yes, sir, right there. Yes. Oh no, you already had one.
It's okay.
Dude, you have to pay $5 for the next one. Let's go somewhere else. Come on. I gotta make some money work. Oh, sorry. Okay, so there was one here, we're gonna do one there. Let's do 2? Okay, we'll get to the... It started off with one hand. And I said, Lloyd, once one person asks a question, everybody's gonna ask a question after.
Maybe we should share a question.
Yeah, because there was a common denominator question over there, right?
I'm sorry.
Okay? You're a team, so you guys ask the questions together. So it's like 2 in 1.
Oh, okay, yes. 2 in 1 discount, $250.
All right, hi. My question is a bit more about the empathy part, right? And this is a bit of a personal struggle of mine. I've been in real estate for a little under a year, and the thing is, when it comes to closing deals, my question is, or I maybe empathize a little bit too much, in which I consider this as a first investment or a house or life savings of someone. And I find myself struggling to sell something that I'm not 100% confident is going to make them money. And yesterday, for example, one of my friends actually, she wanted to buy a project, and I didn't sell it to her. I didn't believe in it. And she actually bought in that project anyways. And a guy went up to me and he said, "You just lost the sale." And I said that at least I can sleep at night because I can sell her something I don't believe in. And we have that struggle where I think maybe I'm over-empathizing, let's say, right? Because I am a salesperson and I do need to sell. So, and real estate is not something you can guarantee that they make money out of. So how do I kind of balance that out?
I just want to add one thing. We actually didn't know what each other's questions were, but my question is exactly the same question.
Right. So, I think, you know, to me, if you're high empathy, right? So you really care about the customer's needs. I'm gonna go on to say this. It's not a bad thing.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing. Like, don't look at it as a sign of everything I look in my life. I'm like, okay, some person thinks this is a weakness, but it's not a weakness. It's not a weakness. It's not bad. Like, I think some people think like, you know, being kind is bad. Oh, I'm gonna treat every guy bad because this guy cheated on me. Good, you're not gonna find another good guy. You know what I mean? Now you're gonna be mean because every girl cheated on you. Now you're gonna be mean. So you're gonna be a jackass. Now you're gonna attract another jackass. So it's not a bad thing. It's not bad because you have high empathy. It might be a good thing. But what you also have to realize is that, you know, your customers might want different than what you want. So how you don't always know for a fact what is gonna make them excited or make them happy, or look, like the logic was they bought a property which you're like, oh, I wouldn't be able to sell it. But maybe there was a deep down reason where they're like, no, I want this freaking property, I'm gonna buy it, or whatever the case is. Again, your job as a salesperson is to assess their needs, and you can make the judgment at the end of the day, hey, do I want to sell this or not? But don't allow your empathy to mix in with your work ethic. Meaning, just because you're high empathy, you know, it doesn't, okay, maybe one deal doesn't close, but maybe you gotta get into the next one. And another thing is this, you also have to realize that it's part of your job as a salesperson to provide, give people information, and allow them to make an informed and educated decision whether or not they want to do it or not. You know what I mean? Like, it's part of your job in sales. So I don't think it's bad to think of someone's interest. I don't think you should ever sell something where you think they're going to be in a loss at. You know, I think this is just ethics in sales. You shouldn't sell something where they're going to be in a freaking loss. Move on. Find another property, find another investment. Or just pass them off with somebody else. Another thing is, don't hold on to the thought. This is where this real conversation comes into. Don't hold on to the thought. Don't think of it. Like, don't just let it go. Go to the next person. You know, because if you're holding on to it, you're going to think empathy is a bad thing. Who cares? They bought it for a different reason. Just go on to the next person. Don't think about it too much, because now you're going to say, oh my God, I care about the client too much. I want to invest in them. Everything works out perfectly. Yeah. If you have good intentions inside a business and you work hard, it will work fine. You know, and wait, don't mix empathy for not closing. Wait. Do not mix empathy for not closing. People, and this is a negative connotation of bias towards sales, because you are empathetic doesn't mean you shouldn't be a beast at closing. Like, you should be scared to ask for the price, or ask for the highest deal, or go right in for the close. That is completely different. I think some people, like, no, you have to train yourself to do that. You have to know that it's okay in sales. Did you guys just see what I did 5 seconds ago? Or no? Somebody just asked for a question. Did you guys hear what I said to him? Yeah. I said $5. And you guys laughed. Because none of us are programmed. That's why I can close easily. Nobody's programmed to close a deal. I would generally take $5 from the guy for another question. I don't give a shit. It's $5. Who cares? I'll get somebody else. But we are programmed not to ask for money. So now that I'm that empathy person, I don't want to close it too hard. I don't want to ask for the money. This is something that you have to know that, you know, the person that asks for the money is going to make the money. The person that asks for the sale is going to make the sale. There's so many times in my life I'm like, shit, I should have just said 50,000. Why did I say 25? Yeah. They would have done it for 50. Why did I do the boot camp for 25? They would have done it for 50. They would have done it for 100. I just didn't ask. You know, I care. No, ask. And that comes through repetition. That comes in trusting your product. It comes through repetition a lot. If you guys are scared to pitch the highest price, the highest investment, start repeating it to your puppy. Your dog. Like,
thank you so
because
much.
it comes out of you. You know, a lot more. Daniel, if I don't want to close, start asking people for it. Start asking more people. Repeat your price to somebody. The total investment is $945 million. You know, price can scare you out of the close as well. I can go on this closing subject. Maybe we'll talk tomorrow in the office a little bit about closing as well and asking for the close, because I think some people screw up at that. It's like, imagine this. Loya was saying this in the back. The whole date is going well. Everything's beautiful. You're on an amazing date. You guys are laughing. She comes back in the car, and it's the closing house. And now you gotta go in for a kiss or whatever the case is. And now you're like, because you did it all well, but you effed up the kiss right here. So to me, well, Dan, then what do I do, man? How do I become a good kisser? Kiss your hand. I don't know. Figure it out. You're only gonna get good by repeating it. If you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have somebody to kiss right now, kiss your hand. So in sales, just repeat it to your dog, the price of the product. Hey, this is everything you're getting. This is why I think it's gonna be peaceful. The total price is $975 million. Geez, are we gonna crush it together in business? I don't know. How are we gonna figure out to get this thing done? Just repeat it a lot of times. Everybody here may have kissed their hand. I kissed my hand. And then you're kissing your hands in front of your boys. I'm like, dude, that's not how you do it. And we're both kissing your hands, and mom walks in, we're like, whoa. Anyways, guys, come on, let's have some fun. We've been at it before. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Daniel.